What's up, resellers? I'm Rebecca, and you are watching Rebecca the Reseller. Thanks for joining me today for yet another Poshmark closet review. I will tell you, I got so many at one point that I raised the price because I just couldn't spend the time to keep up with them. I do spend a lot of time with them. If you've watched any of these Poshmark closet reviews, I spend a good amount of time going through the closet to create the summary that I prepare for the customer, and then I actually create the video as well. So long as everything goes well, it probably takes me anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours to do both parts, and then I have to send it off to the person. But sometimes things don't go right, and then it takes me longer. So I do love doing them. I definitely want to keep doing them, and if you would like to purchase one, they are available in the Etsy store, linked down below. But I did raise the price to $35 just to make it a little bit more worth my time and to probably prevent the capacity a little bit so that I could just kind of have a little bit of time back. So if there is an opportunity for me to do more of them, I may lower the price. I'm happy to do that. I like doing them, but for the time being, I did have to raise the price a little bit just to kind of deal with that supply and demand issue. So thank you so much to everyone that has purchased one and to everyone that has watched them. I get a lot of really great comments from them, and I do appreciate it. But let's dive in because this is for Teamster, and I believe that this person's name is Team. That's how the order showed up on Etsy. So if I'm saying your name incorrectly, I apologize. But I am so excited because this was the very first opportunity for me to review a men's closet. Now, I will say that I am not as well versed in the brands and what is selling and what is hot and what is trending in the men's clothing world. I have some men's in my closet, but I don't do a lot with it. So I'm going to be a little bit less opinionated in that section. But I do think I have a lot of really great tips for you, team, just based on general things that should apply to any closet regardless of what you're selling. So let's dive in. Starting your name with the exclamation point is great. I do think that if you add more of them in the beginning, it does actually bring you up higher in the listing of followers. And so this is something for those that may just be finding me that I recommend for a lot of people, where if you start your name, as you can see here, he has the exclamation point Teamster. If you start it there, that brings you up higher in the list of followers. So if somebody's just going down the list of followers, you're going to show up at the top and be more likely to be followed. And so that just kind of helps you build your network. So it's not a do or die thing, but it's something that I do recommend. And so I think if you add a few more, that might help. Your banner looks great. It's you. You look awesome. So you must have maybe gone to an event because I see the Poshmark in the back. So I don't know if that was Posh Fest or a Posh and Sip or something, but good for you. That's awesome. It looks great. You know, you look super fun. So I think the banner is great. I think your avatar is great. I do think here you've got your contact in bio, which I've never used before, but I'm assuming it's like a link tree or something like that. So that's there. That's great. So people can find you. But I do think you should add a line that I've recommended previously, which is just telling people, it's like an about or info field that you can have here. It doesn't look like you have anything there. So you're wasting some prime real estate. And what you can say is something like 100 packages sold, 1,000 packages sold, 72 items sold, however many have you sold, if you ship same or next day, if you're a Poshmark ambassador, anything that can kind of set your closet apart, let them know that you're professional. You can even put professional seller, whatever you feel will give the buyer some confidence in your store. I think that all of these things adding up that I'm going to talk about for buyer confidence just leaves that buyer with a sense that you're going to answer their question. You're going to ship their item out quickly. You're going to give them exactly what they're expecting when they're looking at the photos versus the item that they receive. Like, they're going to feel confident about purchasing from you. So I think a little line at the top in that prime real estate would be good. Where am I in my notes? Okay, yes. So for all-time listings, you've got 533. Now, I will say I did this summary, I think a day or two ago, so I'm not sure. Have you listed anything in the last couple of days? So that's something, because I usually do like the summary the day before and then do the video later. So if you haven't listed anything, then my recommendation for sure would be you should be listing something every day. Even if you batch take photos, batch upload some drafts, and then just make 1 or 2 listings live a day, if that's all that you can do, that is going to be very key to keeping your store active, to keeping the algorithm happy, to just be doing all of the things that you need to be doing to keep your store fresh and full of things for people to buy. So, you know, I think that you should make a goal for yourself to get to that 1,000 listings. This again is not active listings, this is all-time listings. So you've hit your milestone of 500, which is great. And now you want to be looking forward to that 1,000. And again, I don't know how many you're listing per day or if you do have a daily listing habit, but that's something you want to be striving for. I do think, of course, the more items you list, the more opportunities you have to make sales. So that's definitely something that, you know, you had mentioned to me in your purchase that you were looking to take your closet to the next level. Listing is one of those things. So creating a daily listing habit and increasing those listings will definitely get you there. Shares. So you're at 114,000. That's great. It's a lot. It shows that you're sharing and doing a lot of community shares. And while that's great, you could be better spending your time on listings or sharing your own items or sending offers to likers or dropping prices or revising listings or things like that. So I don't know if you have recently done these community shares. This could be an old number and you may not have done community shares in quite some time. But if you're currently actively doing a lot of community shares, I think you should take your foot off of that pedal and put the gas pedal on listings, offers, revisions, sharing your own items, and pull back on that community share for right now. As far as followers and following, you're at 51,000 now followers. So that went up since I looked the other day. 203,000 following, which means that you're actively following, because it was 202,000 the other day. So you're actively following. Now, I'm not against that. I love following people. I think it's a great mindless task to fill in the blanks of your day sometimes. If you're waiting in line, you know, if you are watching TV and you're just chilling out and you want to click some buttons. You know, in the past I had VAs even follow for me. So following is not a bad thing. But I do think it needs to be prioritized in your list of activities that you do for Poshmark, and you need to be prioritizing sales generating activities. And while number of followers and all of that stuff is great and good, it's not completely correlated to getting sales, right? Because your items can show up in search even if that person isn't following you. They can purchase from you even if they're not following you. So followers are great, but sales is what you want. And so you should be sharing your items if you have a spare moment, or you should be setting a listing live if you have a spare moment, or making a revision to a listing if you have a spare moment, not necessarily prioritizing following. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, but because I happen to see that the numbers went up from the other day to today, that means you are actively following. So that's why I mentioned that. If you are interested, and for those that are watching, in getting more followers, I do have a video, which is linked down below, on all of the ways that you can get more followers. Last active. So let's go here. Last active an hour ago, so that's great. You were recently active when I had checked it out before, so that means you're actively doing that. So that is good. That lets people know that you are in the app, paying attention, going to be answering their questions, going to be answering their offers, things like that. Again, just adds to that confidence level a buyer could have for you. Love notes, you've got some received, some given, so that's great. I saw, so this is good, you got an even better one, because I saw a few that they just said thank you, and so they gave you 5 stars. It shows up in your love notes, but they had just said thank you, and I was like, But here's one that says excellent conditions, shipping was super fast. So at least they're elaborating on their love notes, and so that again just adds to the quality of you as a seller. And if a buyer has ever been burned before, they look at these. You know, it's not the end all be all, but buyers do look at them. I know I look at them when I buy, because I've been burned by other Poshmark sellers before. And so you want to just, if you're trying to buy something, you want to know that it's going to come through for you. You don't want to buy it and then find out a week later they haven't shipped it, and when you do get it, it's nonsense. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing. I'm saying you want to prevent that idea from popping in buyers' minds by having good love notes. So that's great. Average ship time was good. It was 1 day, so that's great. Keep that up. Keep shipping them same day or very close next day, so that you have that nice 1 day average. So when you do want to go lie on a beach somewhere and take a nice vacation someday, you can not ship your items and it won't affect your average, because you have built up that average ship time over hundreds and hundreds and thousands of packages. So it will pay off in the end. Keep that ship time good. because then you can take your foot off the gas later. Posherson, so you've been on since September of 2018. So again, I'm not sure. It's hard to know sometimes, you know, in doing these closet reviews, what your goals are, what you've been up to, that kind of thing. So I don't know if you're a part-time person doing this, if you're trying to be full-time or what, but you know, you're chugging right along. So this particular me noting that you've been on here since September 2018 just usually shows me like if you're super new or if you've been on for a little while. So not anything to worry about there. Now let's go back to the closet and talk about closet signs, one of my favorite things to talk about. So I did not see any. I did not see any in your closet, Mr. Team. So you need to make a closet sign, in my opinion. I think the basic sign that you need is a closet sign, a bookmark sign, something to have in this top prime spot right here that just is a way for people to bookmark your closet. They click the like button, you put in your title, like to bookmark my closet, something like that. Go to my closet. I have the link here. You can check out what mine is like. I have a video on how to easily create them in the Over app or in Typorama. You don't need any design skills. It's very super easy to create a little easy graphic, slap it up there like a listing, and then include some information like 100 packages sold, 1,000 packages sold, ship same next day, packaged with care, professional seller, all the things that I mentioned talking about in your info line. You can now make that into a graphic and have that become your closet bookmark. You can have it be your face, you can get a logo made, you can make your logo, you can just have words in there. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, it just has to be functional, letting the buyer again know that these are the things that they can expect from your closet, that you're a seller that's going to treat them well, and that they're going to have a good experience with you. So I think you should have a bookmark sign. I did not notice any sales or anything that you were running. You may want to consider that. I'm not saying you have to, but if you do, you can make a closet sign to promote your sale. So that's something that could go up at the top as well. If you do ever make a sale or if you do ever run a sale, and for those that are watching, if you have a sale that you're running, go ahead and click down below, and then team, I have this in your summary here. I have a Facebook group. It's free, and so sellers can post their sales and buyers can go and see what sales are happening. And so it's just a nice, I don't know, it's my thing that makes things lighter or darker on my screen. So go check out that Facebook group if you want to put a sale up there. And then I just had another information in here. I'm not going to go through it because we talked about it in a previous closet review, but just, you know, about if you are going to run a sale, there's some tips there. And then for product mix, brand, and size. So here's the thing, you know, I'm less familiar with men's stuff. So I did make some notes. You know, I'm not as familiar with like the going rates, the brands. I mostly handle women's clothes. I do think that of the brands that you have, I recognize a lot of them. They seem to be popular brands, ones that I'm familiar with. So that's good. I don't know a lot of higher end, highly desirable ones. Like I know some in women's clothes, of course, but in men's, I'm less familiar. So you may want to, if you don't have some men's closet idols, you know, go through Poshmark, search some men's items, and find some closets that are doing it better than you, and kind of like creep on their store a little bit. I mean, that's what I do in a lot of stores. I see somebody that's doing something well or selling a brand that I think is good or doing the pictures some way that I like, or I've seen their listing and it looks good, and I kind of creep on their store and I just see what they have going on and try to emulate the things that I think are working well for them, and I try to do it myself. So I think that that would serve you well, to look for brands and look for home run things and things that, you know, might up level your sourcing. If that's not something that you can do, I understand sourcing can be hard for people. But you can always watch, you know, haul videos and what sold videos and things like that. Again, I think there's less content for men's than there are women's, but you never know. And I think for men's, what I would do if I wanted to sell more men's and I wasn't really sure, I would look for a lot of the men's showrooms and the men's parties and just kind of see what's being highlighted. The men's party, it's all brands, so I guess that maybe that's less, but at least you kind of see what's going on in the men's world. But maybe the men's showrooms and see what Poshmark is highlighting for men's, and that might give you a clue to some things that might help up level your sourcing as well. For the product mix, type, and style, what did I put here? Obviously, it's a men's store, and so the range of products would make sense to be less. I wrote this at 4 in the morning. but seems like just shirts, jeans, and pants for the most part. Can you widen your variety to include athletic, career, sports, accessories, shoes? So yes, I just felt like it was like all shirts and all jeans and all pants. And so I think you did have some shorts in there. You had a couple of accessories, but I think in a women's closet, there's a wide array usually of stuff. So if someone's looking for an athletic thing or looking for something, sports, or they're looking for something for work, or they're looking for something casual, there's something there for everyone. You can capture a lot of different kinds of customers. And so perhaps if you widened out from the casual shirts and the dress shirts and the jeans and the pants, you might be able to bring in some more clientele, and maybe they'd make bundles and things. So I didn't notice any prohibited items, so that is good. Photos presentation. So here's the thing. I don't not like the folded presentation. I think it's fine. Everything looks nice and neat. There's less white space around it than when I have a full photo of an item. I don't think that that's necessarily bad. I always just have a big thing about white space. And there's a few items that are not with the nice white behind it. But I mean, overall, I think your cover photos are fine. I don't think that there's anything wrong with them. I don't know if they're the most impressive by having them folded and not showing the entire garment. There's that. And that's for like the cover photo and like the general presentation. They look well cared for. Everything's buttoned up. They're folded pretty nicely. So, I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I just think it could maybe look nicer. I know I hang everything and show the whole front. And so I wonder if a guy cares about that. I don't know. I do think, though, if you took some of your items and searched for them and saw what your competition is like, that might give you an idea of kind of where you stand. Because if a buyer's looking, like, let's say for this, if a buyer's looking for an Old Navy denim shirt or just a denim shirt or this size denim shirt or this size an Old Navy shirt or whatever, search for it a couple different ways and see what comes up next to it. How does it look in comparison to the other things that are also within that size ranging category and brand? Because that's going to tell you what the buyer's seeing. Do you look better compared to the other ones? Do you look worse compared to the other ones? I think that will give you a good idea how you stack up against what the buyer is seeing for competition. The lighting, though, and now I don't know what you're seeing. So I actually, just as a side note, I have a filter on my computer, and I don't know if it's just what I see or if as I'm doing the screen recording, you're going to see it, but it like gets darker as the evening goes on because it takes away the blue light so that you're supposed to sleep better or whatever. I don't know. It's just something that I was recommended. So it's a software that does it. So I don't know if you're seeing that or not, but basically your photos are okay. They're not dark, but they're not super bright either. So I think that you could benefit from a photo editing app. And so that might be something you want to consider, like a Pick Tap Go, just to kind of do a quick edit of the top cover photo, and that might add a little bit of pop and brightness to those cover photos. But I don't think it's not bright. I just think it could be brighter. So you got like a B on, photo lighting. And if you can't invest in a light kit, that's fine. Just go to wherever you can get that good daylight. Like I said, I don't think it's bad. I think the photo editing app could just brighten it up and it would look great. Okay, so here is where I do want to talk a little bit. Okay. So this one, of course, is going to make a liar out of me. But there was one or two that I had seen where you have the folded cover shot. Okay, so that's what you've decided. You've made an executive decision, artistic decision for that to be your cover shot. Then you have like tags, which is good because a lot of people don't do the tags. So I'm happy you have the tags. That's good. Then you do like these cuff shots, which I think is great because a lot of men's, they have those, flippy cuffs or whatever. And so you want to show that. Fine. With the close-up. Okay, so this one actually has a lot more detail than some of the other ones I saw. Then you have this kind of odd looking front shot. I don't love it. I don't hate it. When I did men's shirts or when I did flat lays, I didn't do the cuff thing, but I see maybe you just laid it like that and then you could just take a few photos of what you're doing there and maybe you don't have to reposition it. I don't know what the story is, but I used to just lay it more flat, like kind of like this. And I guess that's just a personal preference. It just doesn't look as clean and cut as it could be, like nice angles. It kind of looks a little bit disheveled. But you have the whole front, but you don't have the whole back. And I didn't notice the whole back in any of the ones that I looked at. So I definitely think you're missing out on a key thing by showing the back, because if I were a buyer, I'd say, why isn't he showing me the back? Is there a spot on the back? Is there a rip on the back? Is there a stain on the back? Why wouldn't he show me the back? He's taking all these photos and he's not showing me the back. So I think you should take a picture of the back if you aren't getting that vibe. Let me see another one, because I hate to criticize just based on a few, but I'm not going to obviously click in every single one of your listings. This one's more like a casual shirt. So you've got the tag. This is another folded. This one just shows, yeah, see me? I don't love that. I don't love how the whole shot is taken. I think you could be a little bit farther away. You look like you're on an angle with it. And so that's why I stopped doing flat lays, because you have to get in such a position to where you can get a straight up and down shot instead of a tilted shot, to where the garment doesn't look quite right. It looks smaller at the top and wider at the bottom because you're on an angle. That's why I don't love flat lays. I don't know. It could just be a personal preference. I'm sure you're selling things just fine, but you did want my opinion. So I'm going to give it to you. I'm just not a fan of that. Or you need to get up higher and have your flat lay lower, which again, it hurts your back. That's why I stopped doing flat lays. If you could get a command strip on the wall and do a hanging, I think you totally should. This one, you don't even have a hole of the front of the shirt nor the back. So that's what I'm saying here. Like, it's great that you have the tag, and you don't have all of the tags either. You just have the front tag. So I think you need some more pictures. I think you need to give them all the information. Like, you're saying it's 100% cotton here, but I think you should show a picture of that tag. Snap buttons, that's great. Is it? Let me see. So those are pearls. I mean, I would call them pearl snap buttons. That's just a keyword that I've used before in kind of like some Western style shirts. You could even put Western or pearl snap as a keyword. And we'll talk more about keywords and stuff later, but I just happened to click on this listing. So yes, I think you need more photos. I think you need the material tag perhaps, and the the fabric tag, yes, the material, what am I saying? The care tag, sorry. The care tag, it may be optional for men. I don't know if they care about that. But I do think you need a whole front, a whole back, and the detail shots that you're doing are fine. So those are my opinions on the photos. Sorry, that was like a whole thing. Pricing. So I think your pricing is good to high. I don't know what your strategy is. Price high, send aggressive offers, drop prices. I don't know. So if you're pricing high on purpose for a certain reason, then that's fine. I do think, again, I don't know the going rates for a lot of men's clothes. Sometimes I feel like I can't give away men's things. And so I don't have the best pricing opinion on men's shirts. I think if you're doing a good comp search and you know what you're doing there, then great. If you're not, I think you should do a good comp search and get familiar with what things are actually selling for. And also, and I talk about it later, let your solds be your guide as well. But $40 down to $13 to $20. I mean, you have a range, so that's good. It's not like you're just saying, I want $40 for all my shirts and that's it. But I do think that it needs to be specific to the shirt and for you to have a feel of that, and I can't comment on that. So thought it was a little good to hide, just not off the cuff of my opinion. Title. So I don't know why you do these all caps titles. I'm not a fan of that. That could just be me. Maybe you have a reason for it, to stand out, to catch people's eye. I don't know. I think it's a little yelly. I think it's a little much. It's not appealing to me. Maybe for guys it is, but it's not for me. So I don't know if the caps is a good idea. I do think that your titles are a little short in some scenarios, and I think in general between the title and the description you could be adding more keywords to help the item come up in more searches and get sold. So we can talk about that. I think you can talk a little bit more about pattern. Like, there was a couple, let's just go back to this one. Like, you don't have that it's even plaid. I mean, it's plaid, so that's a keyword. I mean, besides the pearl snap thing and kind of like maybe the Western, it's plaid. So that, I mean, if somebody's looking for a Lucky Brand plaid shirt, there's probably a lot of Lucky Brand shirts, but you don't have plaid, so you're not going to probably come up over someone that has plaid. So I think that's importante, for sure. So I think if you can look for all of the things that you can talk about on keywords, like what's going on with the neckline, what's going on with the buttons and the snaps, what's going on with the fabric, the pattern, the texture, the sleeve length, all the different things that you can go through. With women's, there's more embellishments and all of that. So, like my keywords list that I have in the Etsy shop is geared for women's clothing. And so a lot of those things are not going to apply to you. You're probably not, I mean, there might be some embroidery obviously on guy shirts, but there's not going to be probably a lot of other things. So I don't know of a dolman sleeve men's shirt. So, those kinds of things wouldn't apply, but I do put some things in your summary here that give you some key points: weight, feel, stretch, how you put it on, details, print, texture, formality, occasion, fit, all these things. So you should go through that and try to add some additional keywords, whether it goes in the title or it goes in the description. They should be there. I do have a listing template video, which I've linked here for you. It's linked down below for everyone else, on all of my thoughts for creating a listing template for yourself and things that should be in your listing. So check those out because that's got a lot of meaty details. For your format, I think you should make kind of a little template. It's very brief here. You don't have any measurements in this particular one, and you don't have any measurements in the photos. I did notice measurements in other listings in the photos, which I'm not a fan of, but at least you had some kind of measurements there. Here you have no measurements. Now, again, in men's clothing, do they care about measurements? Do they look at measurements? Are measurements necessary? Do they just know their size and that's it? I don't know the answer to that. So you may not need measurements, in which case I'm jealous. But I always recommend for measurements to be there, written out in the description. That is my preference. Adding keywords, I think then for your format, you can just do like a copy and paste, kind of like a form, keep it very clean and easy. This one, you don't even have a description as far as the condition. In other ones I saw, you had great condition, you had something was like pre-owned and loved, and I didn't know what that meant, and I was like, oh goodness. So I think because condition can be subjective, because people have a tendency to over exaggerate, you just keep it as brief as you can and as objective as you can. I say excellent condition with no flaws. If there are flaws, then I would say excellent or good to great condition with this flaw and note it specifically. But by saying there's no flaws, you're ruling that out already in the buyer's mind that there's no flaws. That way they don't have to ask you any questions, and which they do sometimes, and it says that there's no flaws. So they're not thinking that you're hiding anything. Here you have no description whatsoever of the condition. I think that's a must, and then I think it needs to be as objective as possible. Measurements, I just said, you should have them. They should preferably be in the description, written out, rather than with photos with tape measures, in my opinion. I also think, and what I've been recommending to everyone, is that you should have a line in here about all of those buyer confidence things that I've kind of already mentioned. Packaged with care, professional seller, offers welcome, ship same next day, bundle and save, heart for price drops, all of those kinds of things. They should be at the bottom of your listing if you want to just seal the deal. You can kind of give that buyer a little bit of information to say, hey, if you buy this, I'm going to ship it the next day. Hey, if you bundle it with another item, you're going to save. Hey, if you want to make an offer, they're welcome. Some people feel weird about making offers. So I do have a video all about boosting buyer confidence. That's linked here, linked down below. So you can check out all those tips in more detail. But I think those are all good things that can help with your buyer experience. Solds. I think you should let your solds be your guide on brand, pricing, photo style, what sells well will sell. So let's go real quick and just look at some of those. My phone's going crazy. I'm running a sale on my Poshmark closet right My phone's going berserk. Okay. Perios 18, that sounds about right. RVCA, I've heard of that. Okay. Padres, those are good. So nice athletic, kind of like jersey type things. Cubavera, I mean, $25 for a Cubavera, that's great. I mean, I've sold them for about that. That's a great, Ralph Lauren. I mean, so see, for the shirts, you're not getting, see, are you getting anything? That's 30. This one's 8. So here you have Western. Did you have Pearl Snap in that one? I'm just curious. Western, Pearl Snap. So you know about Pearl Snap, so put that in the other one listing. What are you doing? Slight staining on the front. See, and you sold it, well, you sold it for 8, but you know what I mean? Like, you still sold it, but you told them that it had a flaw. You had Pearl Snap in there. You had Western in there. So I think this is a good lesson in that this one sold even with a flaw, and the other one's still sitting there, but you didn't have those keywords in there. I'm not saying that, all of a sudden it's going to sell immediately, but those are hot keywords. Western and Pearl Snap, that's a thing. So you should include those. Yeah, so look at your sold, see what's going on here, see what's working, see what's not working, and try to incorporate that. And the thing about a listing template is really so that you don't leave anything out. We're in different moods, sometimes we're rushing, and so if you have a listing template, you're always going to be doing that cookie cutter system. And so you're gonna always have excellent condition, no flaws. You're always gonna hit all the different keywords that you need to hit because you know what you're looking for. You're always gonna have measurements in there, you can't forget to put them in. It's always gonna look the same way. The buyer's gonna be looking at different things in your closet, they're gonna see that, they're gonna get a feel that you're doing the details, and so it all kind of works together. Yes, last shared. What am I doing? Sorry, it's the end of the day. This was the only time I could record the video. I am a hot mess. Let's see here. Okay, updated. Whoa, Nelly. Okay, hold on. Oh, team, we have now outed you. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we have, because you have not shared your items in 11 hours. Come on now, what are we doing? So this is important. So it showed before that you were last active an hour ago, were you not? Detective Rebecca is on the case. Yes. Okay, so last active 2 hours ago. So when we looked before, it was an hour ago, I'm pretty sure. And so you were in there, you were doing something, but you didn't share any items. And you didn't list anything since yesterday. So, tisk tisk, you need to be not just checking, not just checking the app, but you need to do something. Every time you open the app, you need to share something. That's a challenge for you. Every time you open the app, you need to share at least one item. That gets your closet just out there in the feed at some point. You never know what's going to come from that. Yes. You know what? Now, oh, mama. Now I have to go down and just find something. Let's go see. 11 hours. Okay, you're lucky. So it looks like you shared your whole closet 11 hours ago. So that's good. Because if I went down and those were even older, oh my goodness, you were going to get a Rebecca smackdown. Let me tell you what. Let's just check one more time. Because, oh, Robert Graham. Oh, man, what a bummer. 17 hours. So there's a difference. That means 6 hours different than the last time. So these, maybe you didn't want to, I don't know, they're at the bottom of your closet. Maybe you don't want to share them or what have you, but you need to be sharing your whole closet a couple of times a day. Yes. I mean, you don't have that many listings. Like, your whole all-time listings are 533. So you can knock out a full closet share pretty quickly. You got to jam that out. Let's work on that. That is an importante because I did not notice that when I did my checking, so I'm glad I saw that. Answer questions. I didn't notice any unanswered questions, so that's good. That's something you got going for you there. It seems like either you are providing good customer service or you're not, but I didn't see that you weren't. So I'm not going to check every single listing. Now, you have a 15% bundle on 3. Let's see if you still do. Yes. So you have a 15% bundle on 3 items, and that's fine. You have a bundle discount. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I think that the 3-item bundle discount is kind of like a backhanded compliment because, like, they're saying, sure, we'll give you a discount, but you have to get 3 items. But I only have 500 total listings ever, so the likelihood that you might actually find 3 items that you like in your size, in your style, that are available at this moment, I don't know. So just take that with take that into consideration. You do have a lot of things in similar sizes, but are they all something that somebody's going to want? Is this guy that's going to buy this shirt going to also want this shirt? Are those 2 separate guys? I don't know. Are they going to make a bundle? Do you sell a lot of bundles? Because if you don't sell a lot of bundles, consider dropping it down to 2. And then you can play with the percentage. Like maybe you do 10% off of 2 instead of 15% off of 3. I do 20% off of 2. I just give it away, right? So it's up to you. It's completely your business, but I think that the bundle discount on 3 is like kind of not super great. And when I'm buying, I'm like, come on now. Like that just means that they don't want to give me a discount. Like that's how I look at it, because a bundle is 2. You bundle 2 items, that's a bundle. So that's just my personal opinion. So final impressions, I think you have really good fundamentals. I think like I can tell that you want to do a good job. I can tell that you want to take care of the items, that your photos show that you are trying to take care of the items and present it well. You can tell that. And so that's great. So I think it's just a couple of tweaks with the photos, just taking a few more photos, and then maybe brightening up the cover, and then deciding if you want to keep the cover folded or if you want to do a full nice shot. That's up to you. Either way I think is fine. But so you only have a couple tweaks with the photos. That's not really the issue. I think your issue is really just kind of getting into those listings a little bit more, developing a process for yourself that works to where you can just rattle off keywords left and right. And if you can't, because I have trouble with keywords too, having like a cheat sheet, a checklist to say, what's the neckline? What's the pattern? What's the fabric? What's the size? What's the, pattern, fabric content, sleeve length, all of those things that you can go through and say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. Let me add in all of these keywords. And like I say, for those that sell women's clothes in the Etsy store, I do have a women's keyword, basically checklist or guide. So if you do fumble with keywords, I would suggest checking that out, because I made it for myself and that's what I used. So that way I wouldn't forget things. And so for you, for men's, I don't have that resource, at least not right now. And so you may want to make something like that for yourself so that you don't forget to put things in like Pearl Snap or Western or what have you. That way you are giving that item, that asset that you invested in, every chance to sell as possible. It should be coming up in every possible search that is relevant to that item. And by you not putting keywords, you are saying, I don't want that search. I don't want to come up in that guy's search. I don't want to sell to that buyer who's looking for that thing. Because you can't come up in those searches if you don't have the keyword. So keywords, listing template, measurements, maybe not capitals, those are the things that I really think need to be worked on, but they're easy fixes. I think everything that I suggested here are like good, clean, easy fixes that you could totally do. And if you say I'm going to do 10 a day, you can knock out your whole closet very quickly. But you do need to then put it into practice simultaneously with new listings, and list new fresh listings or relist some stuff. Like, I don't know how old those things at the bottom of your closet are that you shared 17 hours ago, but relist one of those suckers. And that way, at least it looks like you're listing something, freshen it up, switch out the cover photo, and, get it fresh in the eyes of potential buyers. So that's all I have to say. Like I said, I think it's a great job. Just got to do some tweaks, got to do some things. And I think, like you said, you want to take it to the next level. So you're at this level. You've mastered this level. This is a great level to be at. You're doing fine. Now you want to up level. These are the kinds of things I would suggest, in my opinion, to help up level. So thanks so much for purchasing a closet review. I really hope that you take some of these tips, nuggets. I hope that they're helpful and valuable to you. For those that are watching at home, I hope you get something out of this as well. And if you're interested in purchasing a closet review, go ahead and check out the Etsy store. And that's not the only thing I have in there. I actually have a brand new thing, which is a guided DIY self-guided closet review. So everything that I do and go through, I've kind of given to you in sort of like a work through so that you can do it yourself. So that might be something that you might want to take a look at. So you don't get me, you just get all of the information, all the things that I think and all the ways that I check it through, but it's cheaper and you can do it on your own time. So that might be something you may be interested in. But again, thanks team. I do appreciate it. I hope that all of this works well for you. and I hope you make lots of sales. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!